Hey guys, it's your boy Just Ray here, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time. I just want to say I'm blessed to be here with you guys in 2024. I want to talk about this sweet kid movie that came out in 2009, Coraline. Okay, well, maybe sweet and kid might not be the most accurate description of the movie. You know, this video was supposed to come out on Halloween, but stuff happened, life happened, and well, here we are. So, I'm gonna do a quick retelling of the film, and I'm gonna talk about some of the things I noticed while watching this film recently. Now, without further ado, let's begin. The movie starts with this creepy reconstruction of a doll, which I found oddly satisfying to watch, if I'm being honest. The doll came out to look exactly like our protagonist, Coraline. Her and her parents just moved into their new apartment, and Coraline decides to check out the nearby well with her new stick. At the well, she meets a stray cat and his kid Wipey. Wipey explains that his grandmother owns the apartment that Coraline is now living in, and that he finds it strange that she's allowed them to move in, mainly because she doesn't typically take tenants with kids. Through this exchange, you can see how much of a lovely person Coraline is.
Heard someone calling you Rayvonn.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I definitely heard someone. Why were you born?
Wipey tells Coraline that the branch she is holding is poison oak, and he dips off, leaving her at the well. After this, we get to see Coraline's beautiful family dynamic.
I almost fell down a well yesterday, Mom.
Uh-huh.
I would have died.
That's nice.
Her mom gives Coraline a doll that Wipey dropped off. Apparently, he found it in his grandmother's trunk. Somehow, not being creeped out by the identical looking doll, she goes to see her dad, and he is happy as he can be.
Dad.
Hello, Coraline.
Since Coraline was bored, her dad sent her on an exploration adventure around the house. She counts the windows, starts killing bugs with her bare hands for some odd reason, and she stumbles across this small door. She quietly asks her mom to open the door. Her mom opens the door, and on the other side is bricks. After a very disgusting look at dinner, Coraline goes to bed while having her creepy doll look at her. Yeah, she built different. She gets interrupted out of her sleep by this random mouse, and she decides to follow it downstairs. It leads her to the small door we saw earlier, and what do you know? A Doctor Who wormhole. She goes through the door and finds herself in her living room, only that it's different. She goes into the kitchen to see her mother cooking, and she has button for eyes. Realizing that she's not her real mom, Coraline runs back to the small door, leaves, and never comes back to this place. I'm obviously kidding. She sits and have dinner with her other mother and father. After some red flags, Coraline decides to go to bed. She wakes up in her original room, and after checking the small door again, she believes that everything was a dream. Coraline goes to see some of the local apartment residents. The first one being this guy, Mr. B. He's working on the mouse circus.
Mouse circus not ready.
Before Coraline goes to visit our other two residents, Mr. B gives her a warning from one of his mice, telling her not to go through the little door. She goes downstairs to see these two old ladies, and they can't decide on what kind of tea to give her.
The oolong tea. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure she'd prefer jasmine.
No, oolong.
Oh, jasmine it is then.
They read her future and tell her that she's in danger. You know, a typical Tuesday. She meets up with Wipey outside this thick behind fog. Wipey tells Coraline that he'd never been inside the Pink Palace due to his grandmother saying that it was dangerous. Then he goes into a story about how his grandmother's twin sister was stolen, but Wipey himself doesn't believe it.
What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe she just ran away.
Coraline just heard all of those warnings, was like, F it, because later that night, she decides to go through the little door again. At this point, the red flags are like dripping in blood, but you know, whatever. Stupid people are gonna do what they always do. Something stupid. Anyway, she goes through the door, following these dirty behind mice, I might add, and she finds other mother in the kitchen. She tells Coraline to meet other father in the garden. She goes into this creepy garden, and yes, I said creepy because look at this. Anyway, other dad takes Coraline up in the sky in his pimped out grasshopper copper to look at the flower arrangement. Afterwards, Coraline meets this world's Wipey. The other mother gave him a Deadpool treatment so he wouldn't talk, and our loving protagonist loathes the idea.
I thought you'd like him more if he spoke a little less, so I fixed him.
So he can't talk at all?
Nope.
I like it.
So they head upstairs to see Mr. B's rat show. So then Coraline goes to bed with everyone staring at her, and she's back in the real world. Coraline and her mother are at the uniform store to, get a uniform for Coraline. Coraline sees these gloves and asks her mom to get them. Her mom says yes.
Put them back.
and heads back home. Coraline takes another trip to Wonderland, and this time she meets up with Wybie's cat. The real one, in fact, and he sounds just like Keith David in this world.
You must be the other cat.
No, I'm not the other anything. I'm me.
He tries to warn Coraline of the dangers of this world, but of course, she doesn't listen, and she heads downstairs to see the two old ladies with Wybie. And honestly, the less said about this scene, the better. After the show, other mother and dad meet up with them outside, and the other Wybie isn't vibing with it. They go inside and they tell Coraline that if she wants to stay in this world, she got so button in her eyes. They even nice enough to give her own choice of color.
Or pink. Or vermilion. Or chartreuse.
And for the first time, Coraline does the right thing and declines. And now realizing that things are definitely off in this place, she tries to go to sleep so she can wake up in the real world. Yeah, that didn't work. Now she's trying to find the other mother so she can let her go. First thing she does is talk to other dad, and this happens.
I want to go home.
All will be swell soon as mother's refreshed. Her strength is our strength.
She then runs into the woods to find Wybie, and yeah, she doesn't find her. So she goes back to the house and she sees, this. Coraline expresses how she wants to go home, and other mother decides to turn into this. Oh yeah, she also threw her into a mirror. There, Coraline meets three ghosts, all victims of the other mother, who had previously taken the other mother's deal. You know the whole sewing button in their eyes thing? Yeah, that. They tell Coraline that if she can escape, she can free their souls by finding their eyes. She tells them that she'll try. Other Wybie pulls Coraline from the mirror. Here we see that the other mother did what every retail manager does and forced him to smile. He helps her to escape and she makes it back home. She goes looking for her real parents and they are nowhere to be found. Wybie comes to the door, and after everything she's been through, she gives him the biggest welcome.
Oh, the Wybie that talks.
He came back to get the doll he gave her earlier in the movie. Coraline revealed to Wybie that she met his grandmother's sister, but that she was stuck in another world. And Wybie says the same thing that I said about every girl that I ever talked to.
'Cause you're crazy.
And he rushes out. Still looking for her parents, she heads downstairs to the old ladies. Look, I know they have names, I just don't feel like saying it, okay? They give her an item to find lost things, or bad things. It wasn't exactly clear.
Bad things, Miriam.
Lost things, April.
Bad?
Lost.
Bad things.
Lost.
Later in the night, the cat shows Coraline that her parents were taken by the other mother. After that, she was like, alright, bet, I'm gonna have to go get them then. So, she goes to the door again to save them. There was no way that the other mother was going to give Coraline her parents back. So, she challenged the other mother to a game.
I want to play a game.
If she can find all the ghost children's eyes and her parents within the time limit, she wins. If not, the other mother wins and she has to get buttons sewn into her eyes. So, the quest begins. She goes into the garden first. She figures out the item that the old ladies gave her can help her find things that are hidden, like the ghost eyes. She finds the first one in the garden. She finds the second one downstairs with the old ladies. She finds the last one at the rat circus. She does something stupid in the process of getting this one though. See? Stupid. She goes back to the house so she can find her parents and be out. Here we finally see the Wicked Witch of the Web in her final form. She tricks the other mother into opening the door, and then she disrespects our very helpful friend by throwing him at the spider lady. She grabs her parents and she dips out of that door. Her parents are saved and the ghost children are too, but it ain't over yet. With that key still around, the Web Witch can come back. She decides late at night, for some reason, to throw the key into the well, but the witch's hand sees what's about to happen somehow and tries to stop Coraline. Coraline is struggling, but Wybie comes to save the day. Well, I mean, he almost dies, but you know, he helps nonetheless. Later on, everyone is sipping lemonade, Mr. Beast are acting mad suspect, and everything is all good in the Pink Palace. Also, Coraline apologized to the cat for being foul. One of the first things that I noticed was, well, the family is poor. Look, I know it's probably obvious for a lot of people who have seen the film, but you know, I'm slow. For instance, when the mover was asking for a tip, all they was able to do was give him $1. Another time when they were looking inside the fridge and it was like no food. Or the time when they went to the store and Coraline wanted those gloves and the mom said no. Look, the mom wasn't being mean. She was broke. And then later on when the catalog thing went through and they got some money, that's when she, at the end of the movie, gave her some gloves and everything was doing better on their part. It was obvious. I didn't see it the first time, but you know, it was cool noticing that this time around. You know, I'm slow. All right, the second thing I noticed was more of a theory, but I think the other mother had a time limit in order to do everything she wanted to do when it came to Coraline. For instance, like every time you would see Coraline go into the other world, it seemed like the other mother was slowly turning into this spider creature. Like every time, slowly turning from what looked like her mom to the creature that she really was. All right, so the third and last thing I noticed, and this one's pretty obvious. Coraline is mean as hell. I didn't even know she was so spoiled. I'm like, I do not like this character. Look, we're gonna do a little countdown how many times she just went off.
The dowsing rod. Ow! Hurt someone. Why were you born?
I give you bowls of porridge and I give you bowls of ice cream.
Why don't you ever cook, Mom? Ha! Your cat's not wild. He's a wuss puss. Great. Another whitey. Hello, why were you born? So he can't talk at all? Nope. I like it.
I'm back.
My other mother would get that.
Dad's planning something special.
Disgusting.
You want to come along? You can pick out something you like.
Oh, like the gloves. Oh, the whitey that talks. Huh? No, I'm not.
And that's it. That's all, folks. Thank you guys for coming. I truly appreciate it. If this is your first time on the channel, please do me a solid. Hit that like and subscribe button. And further ado, I just want to say, let's give it our all this year. Let's give it our all. And you guys have a blessed day.